Supports truly make the world go round. They are the engine that drives our success. Whether it be Merlin with his Buster crits, Stutter Scuddy pioneering quick, Tamamo no Mai leading the way for arts, Waver with his NP batteries, or Georges with his... Hang on. Georges? Masters of Chaldea, may I introduce you to the legendary Dragon Creation meta. This comprises Georges and one of Fate's Grand Order's 3 primary Dragon Slayers, Zed, Siegfried, and Sigurd. All 3 have extremely powerful buffs against units designated as dragons.
Oh no!
But unfortunately, there aren't really all that many of note after the first few singularities, at least none that will pose a threat that warrants an anti-dragon buff specifically, and even fewer they possess class advantage over. So how are these servants expected to take advantage of their powerful but rather niche advantage? Enter Georges. And his noble phantasm, while it hits with the force of a wet paper bag and has all the explosiveness of a tragic firework, its pre-damage effect turns the opponent into a dragon for 3 turns. This then leaves the target exposed to anti-dragon damage. But is this system actually any good? Let's take a look. When it works, it does a lot of damage. These boys sure know how to deal with dragons. But there's a lot of problems. So many that it might, I must admit, explain why the Georgia system hasn't quite taken off yet. Of all the dragon slaying trio, Georges might fit best with Sigurd. Ascalon is a single target NP that afflicts the target with dragon status, and Sigurd's Bulwark Ram is a single target noble phantasm that excels against dragons. Better still, using the NPs consecutively increases Sigurd's overcharge, which boosts his damage against dragon-kind opponents. So a perfect match! Well, not quite. While Bulwark Ram is a Buster NP, Ascalon is Arts, preventing Sigurd from incorporating it as part of a Buster chain, weakening its overall damage potential. Furthermore, Sigurd is a servant reliant on critical damage as well, and as a rider, Georges steals all his stars. At least the Arts Buster clash, however, can be fixed by not pairing their noble phantasms together. After all, the dragon status does last for 3 whole turns, but then you lose the overcharge buff to Sigurd's damage. Why is life so difficult? But what about when Georges is paired with not Sigurd? Well, Siegfried has not 1 but 2 anti-dragon buffs, including the overcharge on his NP. So this seems like a good fit again, right? Well, there is a slight problem. The Arts Buster connection is again an issue, but perhaps the bigger issue is that, as we noted earlier, Ascalon is a single target noble phantasm, whereas Balmung, Siegfried's NP, is area of effect. So Georges can only turn one of the wave of enemies into a dragon, making him rather less useful, right? Unless... Zeke also has an AoE NP, and unless you are very committed to Georges firing off his Noble Phantasm twice in quick succession, that remains an issue. But this time, his NP is Arts, so there's no Buster Arts clash here. So have we finally found a good fit? Well, no. Georges is a rider, Zeke is a caster. Casters are strong against assassins, riders are weak to assassins. They are not exactly natural teammates. So after all this, why bother with all this hassle? Well, because of this. This immense amount of damage can in some instances justify this whole system. Sure, it's clunky, takes a while to set up, and Georges is not a natural fit with, well, any of the Dragon Slayers. But if there is room to execute these Noble Phantasms, then the setup can be hugely beneficial. Otherwise, impenetrable bosses can quickly be slain, just as Fafnir was all those centuries ago. Is it the best approach for every situation? Are you kidding me? Absolutely not! But might you want to give it a try if you're struggling with a particular boss fight? Or even just for fun? Sure, give it a go. After all, the thumbnail says this strategy is absurd. Not bad.